It is just a few days from Thanksgiving, and a lot of us are not going to be feeling very thankful. All across the nation, a pandemic is raging. And in our state of New Mexico, the hospitals are running out of beds, and there are not enough doctors and nurses to treat all of the patients. A great many more have fallen ill, over 1,000 testing positive every day. There are no restaurants to go to except for takeout, and no movie theaters to go to enjoy the latest movie. There may be a football game, and you can watch the Dallas Cowboys play on Thanksgiving Day, but it really hasn't been much of a season. Only essential businesses are allowed to be open right now. Other businesses have been shut down. There will be no shopping centers to go to this year, and there is no economic relief in sight for the many people who are out of a job right now. And regardless of how you feel about our most recent election, there's still a lot of uncertainty and unrest sure to follow in the days ahead, enough to be concerned about where we might be going as a country. Travel and family gatherings are all but impossible right now. And truthfully, it would be risky and very unwise to try and gather people together. There is great concern that any such gathering could well cause everyone to get sick and help spread the virus to even more people. So altogether, this Thanksgiving will be a little sad and lonely. And certainly in some homes, there will be empty chairs too, and only memories of years that were certainly better than this one. What then is there to be thankful for this year? This year, I think that we may have to look deeper than we have in years past. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 17, there is a story about 10 lepers who lived in the borderlands between Samaria and Galilee. It was the only place they could be, far from family and any society, for fear of the disease that they carried. The only company they could keep was their own, in shared misery. They were barely alive, seeking whatever food passing travelers might throw at them from a distance as they passed by. When Jesus came by, someone must have recognized him because they cried out, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And Jesus stopped. "Go and show yourselves to the priests," he said. There is no indication that they had yet been healed. If they were not and got anywhere near the priests, they would surely be screamed at and pelted with rocks. But they left anyway. I suppose that there was for them literally nothing to lose anymore. I suppose along the way, all 10 of them must have suddenly realized they were miraculously healed. Surely they all rejoiced, and then 9 of them went on to do exactly what Jesus had told them to do. The 10th man, however, was a Samaritan. Truth be told, he was no longer welcome, even in their company. He was an outsider. As a Samaritan, he couldn't go where they were going, and yet this amazing thing had happened to him as well. He could go home now, but before he did that, he knew that he owed a debt of gratitude that must be recognized. So he returned to Jesus and fell at his feet and thanked him, giving thanks to God through him. Were not all 10 cleansed? Jesus asked him. Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner? His question haunts us because most of us are insiders instead of outsiders. It's likely that most of us would be like the other 9, just eager to get on with our lives, just grateful that we can. Like them, if we had been sick, we might consider it only right that we have now been healed. Why thank God? After all, isn't God just as responsible for us getting sick as for us being healed? Why then should we give any thanks to God at all? After all, God could have protected us from this suffering. Many who have survived this virus, and most people do, seem to feel relief, but little gratitude toward God. They thank their doctors and their nurses, and then they return to life. Maybe 1 in 10 understands that they were not entitled to the blessings of God, and yet God has made them well. True gratitude comes from a place of exile, as does the life that follows. Right now, our disappointment as this year and this Thanksgiving week unfolds as something that we hope to forget someday is the result of our expectations. This time of year is usually one of joy and contentment, a recognition of the role of family and friends in our life. We expect get-togethers and familiar traditions. We decorate our homes and we share a feast with one another. We enter the season with joy and anticipation. Not this year. But this year we have an opportunity to sit on the side of the road with the lepers as Jesus walks by. From our place of sorrow and solitude, we can call out to him and accept the gift he brings. He alone can heal us, and he alone can help us understand our commonality with all humanity. For we are all dependent upon God's mercy and God's love, and we are entitled to neither. In the 16th century, the Protestant reformer Martin Luther was asked to describe the nature of true worship. I'm sure the one who asked him expected a long answer, but he simply said, "True worship is the 10th leper turning back." I am sure that the other 9 lepers did what they were told to do, performed the ritual of cleansing, paid their dues at the temple. They, however, did not receive the blessing that the 10th leper did. To him alone, Jesus said, "Rise and go, your faith has made you well." Better translations capture the full meaning of the word, using the word saved. Or as the King James Version puts it, "Arise, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole." To be made whole is what all of us most desire. To be made whole is the pieces of our life finally stitched together. It is the essence of our life restored to us. It is our unity with others fully realized at last. It is our right relationship with God recreated anew, as if we were in the garden once again. That doesn't happen until our faith has brought us to the feet of Jesus. The 10th leper understood that. To respond rightly to Jesus is to praise and glorify God. A trip to the temple is not enough. We are only made whole again when we fall at his feet, grateful for the grace that has accepted us and loved us just as we are. Love that springs from gratitude is the essence of faith. I suspect that 9 lepers returned home again to live as they had before. And I also suspect that the 10th leper was never quite the same again. He alone remained forever grateful. In every season, he alone had a reason to give thanks, no matter the circumstance. He alone had been made whole. This year, we might hope to join him in glorifying God at the feet of Jesus with thankful hearts. Martin Rinkart was a Lutheran pastor in Eilenburg, Saxony, during the 30 Years' War, which lasted from 1618 to 1647. During that time, the city took in many refugees fleeing the turmoil. Although Rinkart could barely take care of his own family, he opened his heart and his home to them. Armies overran the city 3 times, and in 1637, a plague swept through the city. Soon, Rinkart was the only pastor still alive. He conducted as many as 50 funerals a day as the plague decimated their numbers. He performed 4,000 funerals that one year, including that of his own wife. Surely a man of sorrows. No doubt his life and name would be forgotten, except for a hymn that he wrote. It was published in 1647 and was already popular when at long last the Peace of Westphalia was signed in 1648, ending the long war. Written in German, it read, Nun danket alle Gott, mit Herzen und in Handen, der große Dinge tut, und uns und allen Inden, der uns von Mutterlieb und Kindesbeinen an ansig viel so gut, bis Herr hat getan. Or as translated into English in the 19th century, very beautifully, but not very accurately. Now thank we all our God, with heart and hands and voices, who wondrous things has done, in whom this world rejoices, who from our mother's arms has blessed us on our way, with countless gifts of love, and still is ours today. How could a man who had suffered so much write these words? I think he must have had the heart of the 10th leper and knelt once at the feet of Jesus, glorifying God for mercies undeserved. He surely had true faith in the love of God through Christ. I think of Ringhardt's words now, and I hear a call to the other 9 lepers. Now thank we all our God. I will give thanks this year by giving a little more to a food bank and praying a little more for all those who may be in hospital beds, and perhaps by making a few phone calls to people I cannot see in person this year. I will give thanks to God for all his mercies, and I will pray for a world full of sorrow and pain. And I will trust in the Lord who can and will make us whole again by the grace of Jesus Christ. This year may not be much like the years before it, but I know that there are better days to come. This I know, because the same God who has blessed us in years past still is ours today. Be safe, and God bless you.